Hey, Amber Erickson here, and we have hit the Super Bowl of my holiday season, and that is the new year. I love the new year because I'm the kind of person who helps other people get what they want out of life, out of their business, out of everything. And what better time to think about how to get that done than a fresh start? I'm the kind of person that likes Mondays. So if you have the Sunday scaries, I'm probably not your person because new is great to me. A new morning means new opportunity, and a new year means a new runway for greatness. And so every year when I had the Bombshell podcast, every year I did this episode, and it was traditionally my highest performing episode of the year. Last year I did a lame little YouTube, and I'm going to do another lame little YouTube. Spoiler alert, a new podcast is coming in 2026, but you'll learn why 2025 I've been a little less active online and a little bit busier behind the scenes that nobody can see. So again, we're going to talk about the 5 things that we need to leave behind in order to have a successful year, and the 5 things we need to establish in order to have a successful new year. So let me take you through 2025 and 2026. So I'll tell you what I got rid of. What did that mean for me and my business and my life? And then what's the plan for 2026? So I'll tell you them first, and then we'll get into each one of them. Number one, out of the 5 things we need to leave behind, one person who takes energy away and doesn't give energy to you. Number two, one activity that moves you away from your goals. Number three, one belief that has no evidence to support it. Number four, one habit that keeps you from being your best. Number five, one tool or expense you don't use or need. So let's talk about it. Number one person who takes energy and doesn't give energy to you. Last year, I literally put anyone who takes more than they give, anyone. And being able to like quickly identify that, quickly just like read the energy exchange and just be like, okay, that's not for me. Keep trucking. Like there's no animosity. There's no like, I wish you ill will. Just this isn't feeling like it's equitable. I'm not keeping score, but I could just tell this isn't equitable. Keep trucking. There's no way, again, check out my social media, look at my 2025 performance. There's no way I would have gotten all of those things done if I was constantly entertaining people that were taking energy from me without restoring it. In 2026, the person that I have in this slot is someone that I will care for and be there for in some form or fashion, I'm sure, for perpetuity. But in this particular instance, I've just chosen to remove my covering, like my hedge of protection, my epic grace. It's kind of like, all right, you're on your own now because even just trying to protect you from you is costing me too much energy. So that can't happen anymore. So peace be with you. So that's the one person, unless you're going to say something like me and like literally anybody, also acceptable. Number two is one activity that moves you away from your goals. And again, there's definitely a theme for 2025, the year of the snake shedding, right? Putting others' needs and wants before mine. Now, I want to put time out here. I think as women, we're naturally wired that way. I think we take it too far, but I don't ever want that part to go away. Like if you think about just our very DNA, the way that our bodies work, like our systems work, when we nurture and sustain life inside of our body, even the nutrients, like the food that we eat, the nutrients go to the baby first and meet the baby's needs before we get our needs met nutritionally, which is why it's so important if you're pregnant to like have top nutrition because you're the one that's not getting enough. And so, like, if my body's wired that way, then it just makes kind of sense to me that I am going to look out for other people, but not to the detriment of my own ability to be there for everyone, right? So we can't pour from an empty cup. We can only pour from a place of overflow. So when we aren't getting that energy exchange or we're constantly putting everybody's needs and wants before our own, then you're being like, hey, you can be a leech and suck the blood out of me. And on that arm and on this arm, let me slice myself open and bleed for you just voluntarily. Like now, where are we getting our energy from? So again, getting rid of all of that in 2025 set me up for being able to retool my business, make sure that everything was back on track after a rough year, after a massive, massive surgery that took a tremendous amount of time to recover from. Just getting things back on track the right way for Amber and not bending or flexing to accommodate literally everyone around me. which I kind of had to do before out of necessity. So as we move into 2026, the one activity that moves me away from my goals, I'm not going to say that I don't want to make it. It's just a personal thing for me, and it's not. I don't think it's a bad thing. That it wasn't a bad activity. In fact, it was a helpful activity. It's just not going to be a priority in next year because I've never been more clear. I've never been more focused, and all the boring behind the scenes work of 2025 is going to allow me to really stay in my zone of genius and do the things that I love in 2026. So this particular thing is just not going to be a priority. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so number 3, the one belief that has no evidence to support it. I even laugh at when I see this now, I'm like, that just is silly. But I put, I'm crazy. And I call myself a lunatic, like lovingly. And I think being a lunatic is super fun. But when you have an alphabet of diagnoses like I do, it's easy to just be like, well, you're crazy. And I'm not. In fact, if I would put myself next to the average human who also probably, if they were proactive, would also have an alphabet of diagnoses. Like for me, well, let me finish that thought. I'm not saying that I would be better than, just probably more self aware than the person who doesn't have the diagnosis, but probably has lots of trauma, lots of things going on, lots of experiences that they've had, lots of things about their brain that might be different. And I do have, I have ADHD. There's other things have that have literally changed the neural pathways in my brain, but that doesn't make me crazy. And the one thing I love to tell people is like, I'm not into labels, but if the label shows me where to find the toolbox to give me my bubble wrap that I need in order to optimize it, then fine, give me a label. So those of you who are like, oh, I don't want the label of whatever, great. Whatever behaviors you have or however your brain is wired, just know what that is and you're not crazy. It's just how your brain is wired. So again, I don't think I ever believed that I was crazy, but that's something that I would say out loud a lot. And I don't think I've said that out loud quite as much in 2025. And then in 2026, the one belief that has no evidence to support it is the belief I'm leaving behind the belief that I can't grow money, and I'm embracing the truth that I can learn and grow into financial competence. Now, I've made some really great financial decisions, so I don't make it sound like, oh, I don't know how to do money. But truly, like investment strategies and things like that, that's something that I want to continuously grow. I've learned, obviously over the past 13 years, have definitely gotten great about that from a business perspective. But I would like to have more understanding of like the market and other types of maybe non-traditional investment strategies. And considering I work in wealth management, I do have good influences. So that's my one belief that has no evidence to support it. And the reason why I'm being so overt about that too is y'all know I was a teen mom. So I have single mom syndrome. And it's just something I've always had to like rewire my brain that like you're safe. You have all the money that you need. You can earn money. You created your own business. You provide for yourself. Like those are all things that are true all the time. But again, when you come from such a place of scarcity and like you're constantly worried about your car being repossessed and if you can make rent or if your daughter's going to get kicked out of her preschool, like those things carry with you. And so like by step over a year, you make different choices. And I'm happy to be at a point where I'm like, I want to have more advanced investment strategies. Like that's a good place to be, right? So never think of these things of like these things that you have to let go. Like there's something wrong with you. It's just like, oh, I've advanced to the point now where this makes sense for me to let go of that now. Like I've let go of all these other things. Okay, so back on track. So we've done one person who takes the energy, doesn't give energy back, one activity that moves you away from your goals, one belief that has no evidence to support it. Now let's talk about one habit that keeps you from being your best. This one's a little personal to me. I have tackled it. Apparently, there's another underlying thing that I need to tackle before I can tackle that, but I'm in the process of doing that right now and it feels good. It's a little annoying, but it feels good. And for the first time related to this issue, I'm like, oh, okay, there's a path forward. So that's a good thing. So that was last year. Again, tackled it, feeling great about moving into 2026. And then number 4 also might be a little personal. I'm not sure I want to share that on the interweb, but it's really not that big of a deal and worthy of exploring throughout this year. So just think about like the habits that you have, whether it's daily or weekly, that is something that's just not helping you out. You got to let it go or adapt or shift. Maybe you don't let it go completely. Maybe it's like you just do it a little bit differently or less, or you're more moderate with it. Okay, so let's move on to number 5, one tool or expense you don't use or need. I put lots to clean up, and one specifically that I put on there was the gym. I did cancel my gym membership. I have weights at home. I love my speed bag, which is something that I put on my vision board to enjoy more. I've got a stationary bike. I have a bike. I have rollerblades. I have a weight bench. I have all kinds of things, and I'm more efficient at home when I work out at home instead of being driving 15 minutes and 15 minutes back, and now that's another 30 minutes out of my day times, 7 days a week. Like, meh, I don't need it. And if I want to lift that heavy, then I guess I'll do it. I don't know what I'll do, but probably get heavier weights at home, to be honest. So that was, again, I just want you to think about, even if it's $100, well, times 12, I'd rather keep $1,200 in my pocket than just let it float out the door because I don't do this exercise at least once a year. I encourage you to do what's the reoccurring expenses at least quarterly, but if we just do it one time a year, and it might just be a tool, it might be something that is software or something like that, which for 2026, I am getting rid of my of software that I don't need because it doesn't support the new way that I'm doing business. I just don't need it. And so I have to move out of it. In 2025, I had to move out of a full ton of stuff. I really refined my tech stack yet again. And I'm super, super happy with what we're in now. Everything works together. I'm not 5 different applications. And this is just that one last thing that is going to require quite a bit of exporting and dealing with stuff. So that's why we kicked it to next year. Okay, so that's the 5 things that we need to leave behind for a successful year. Now that we've cleared that space out, just like the year of the snake, we've shedded it all. We're like, okay, that's got to go. Let's talk about what we're going to invite in instead. So last year, well, let me talk about what the 5 things are. So it's your word of the year, your mantra of the year, your song of the year, your vision board, and your goals. So my word of the year last year was no. And I can say that word great now. Call me up right now. Send me a text, send me an email, send me a direct message. No, that's my answer. And it really was like, if you can't wait, or if I would say something like, well, let me think on that, or give me a day to think about it. If somebody was like, oh, I really need to know, then I'm like, okay, it's no. And they'd be like, wait, wait, wait. And I'm like, no, I mean, you just, if I'm going to have pressure on me to make a decision because of some need of yours, then it's not for me. That's fine. And then don't come back and try to act like there's time to backpedal, because if there's time for me to think about it, then there would have been time for me to think about it. And so like just that uninvited pressure is no more in my life, none whatsoever. And also, if you do have ADHD or attentive, we tend to get excited about things in real time. And then we realize, like, oh, that's going to cost me this, it's going to cost me that, it's going to cost me this. And then we still do it anyways because we don't want to disappoint that person. But that person likely would have been like, oh, if they would have known those things that would cost us, they probably would have never asked us to do it. So, again, my neurodivergent community, please sleep on it. Just ask for time before you say yes. And then I also had a word because I was like, well, that's kind of negative, and it was authority. And I redesigned my offerings to be in something called the Authority Suite. So you can log into the client portal, and there's different paths that you can take for branding, whether it's your personal brand through Brandage Accelerator, the Vanguard Council, All of that is now housed in what I call the authority suite, so that you can learn how to be the authority in your niche, authority in your subject matter area of expertise. It could be authority in your industry, authority at work, authority in terms of like what makes a great employee environment. Whatever that is, that word really came in clutch for me this year because I actually branded something around it. My word of the year for 2026 is audacity. And I think I'm just going to leave it right there. I'm going to have a heck of a lot of audacity. And do you know why? Because I spent 2025 getting it straightened out, getting aligned, that aligned expansion. Now that I know this is absolutely 100% aligned with me, I'm going into 2026 with a bunch of audacity. So let's talk about the mantra of the year, which was aligned expansion. So I gave that a little bit too early. I have these out of order here on my little cheat sheet list. So establish aligned expansion. So I even on my vision board, I even wrote out something more than just the mantra because I felt like I really wanted to reflect on what that meant. And so it is I create with intention, nurture with compassion, and evolve with clarity. When I'm thinking about like, how do I want to expand that would feel aligned with who I am, with how God made me, with what my greatest purpose is on this planet. Like I want to create with intention to honor that. I want to nurture with compassion. I want to be very aware of people's human condition as I do this. And I want to evolve with clarity. And I hate that AI uses clarity so much because that's my word. I'm in branding. And I know that you get confidence when you're clear. And so I want to evolve with clarity. I never want to lose sight of like what is right and connected to me. And I have before. So like that was a really big deal for me this year. Again, I did that aligned expansion. I created new forms of new revenue streams that are like things that just set my soul on fire. So when we think about adding, right? So this is one of the things that we establish our word of the year. And then the mantra of the year last year was aligned expansion. That happened beautifully. And then for 2026, my mantra of the year is deep root, abundant fruit. And let me tell you about that because I've said this to several groups, like my leadership groups this year. I've said it to my one-on-one customers. I've said it to my members. And I want you to think about your roots like the work that I did in 2025 is really aligning. You're going to hear me talk about that ad nauseum. So buckle up. But when your roots go deep because you're intentional and you're rooted in your values and you're rooted in your goals and you're rooted with what is aligned with your design, your energetic makeup, the way that God made you when you're aligned with all of that, like your roots go so deep that when the wind comes and the storms come, like you're not going to blow over. And when the sun beats down, you might get a little crispy, but those roots, those are getting that deep, rich nutrient from the soil, from the earth that you're rooted in. And when you get that deep, rich soil from the roots that you are planted in, that your values, your talents, your gifts, all of that, that's when the fruit comes and it's in abundance. So what I'm claiming is last year with that aligned expansion set in 2025, my mantra for 2026 is like, all right, now we're going to take those deep roots and experience abundant fruit. And not just for me, but everyone who I bring along with me, all of my clients, my customers, my loved ones. I want everyone to have that abundant fruit because of the work that's been done to plant those deep roots. Okay, song of the year. Last year, it was Running Down a Dream by Tom Petty because I mean, I love Tom Petty. It's definitely this is not his first appearance on this list for me, but Running Down a Dream, yeah, running down a dream that never would come to me, working on a mystery, going wherever it leads, running down a dream. So, I mean, that just kind of goes back to, or doesn't kind of, definitely goes back to me just being like, all right, God, and spoiler alert, the verse that was on my vision board, which is the next thing that we need to establish is that vision board, was Proverbs 3:5-6, which is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. And I mean, I've listened to that voice, and when I'm thinking about running down a dream, working on a mystery, going wherever it leads, like I'm not real sure that Tom Petty was being, spiritual about that. But that's how I took it. Is like, okay, I'm going to listen to that still small voice and I'm going to run in that direction. And when it doesn't make sense on paper, I'm still going to listen to that discernment because that is what always sets my path straight. And man, what a difference the year makes. I mean, go back and watch this last year. I was like, oh my God, but I'm grateful for this crazy year. It was rough. I don't know if I'm much better off in the energy side of things at the end of this year, but at least this year, really, we got some traction. Okay. So we've covered your word of the year, your mantra of the year, your song of the year, and then we do the vision board. So I like to put things in there for my spiritual life, for my health, for the different types of relationships I have, kids, partner if you have one, other relationships like friendships, environments, like what type of environments do you need to create around yourself? That could be like, expanding your outdoor space. It could be redecorating your bedroom. It could be organizing your office, whatever that is. I just think environments set us up for success or failure, and they're really, really important. And so last year I did like a lot of nervous system regulation kind of stuff. That's really important to me. Again, with an alphabet of diagnoses, if you get that part right, then the alphabet doesn't chase you around. It's amazing. And then also just again working on my glutes and my muscle strength, returning from the hip surgery and all that good jazz, which is a long journey and still have a ways to go. Definitely, I had things on there with my kids, things with, in the partner side of things, which I've been single all year, dated. We did not have a terrible dating experience. Very grateful for all of the wonderful human beings that I met and got to experience. And whether it was just the chemistry or the compatibility, where you are in life, all those kind of things. Like I don't understand why there's such a divide between men and women because we need each other. We're not the same. We're very different people. And as a coach, I'm in people's brains a lot, and I have been in a lot of brains over the past 13 years. And I think it's different how I perceive things. So, anyways, I would encourage you that if you do have a partner, that you put something on your vision board around that, because partner is partner. Partner means like we're doing life together. And so it just would seem weird to me to leave your partner off unless, of course, you don't foresee that person being your partner moving forward. And then that's between you and God. And then when we're talking about goals, for me, there's goals around my health, but really when I'm talking about goals, I kind of leave like the vision type stuff for like my personal life, because whether you're staring at something every day, like on a vision board or on your phone or whatever, like that's where your attention is. And so like if I see that XYZ for my health is there, then every single day I'm thinking about like what can I do to make that happen. But my business goals, those are something that I need to put KPIs around, that I need to have accountability with my coach and that sort of thing. So that's the process. That's it. I'm uber excited to expand on this. My very deep system that I personally use for my own growth, for my own spiritual growth, my own business growth, my own mental growth, energetic growth. It's really extensive. It is extensive, and I have a 60 something page document to guide my coming year, and I'm so excited to do that for clients this year and to really go deeper. And on that note, that word deep, that's what you're going to be seeing moving forward. So if you're somebody who just kind of like to keep it superficial and talk about colors and fonts and that sort of thing, then like great, that's where you are right now, and you go find somebody to talk about that. If you're going to hang with me in 2026, we're going to go deeper. We're going to be talking about things on, yes, on a definite business level, but also on an energetic level. And I'm just telling you right now that if that offends you or you don't agree with me, you can just keep on scrolling. Just keep scrolling until you find somebody that you vibe with. And you just leave me and my people alone. And if you're somebody who you've experienced how I really do business behind the scenes and not like what I'm brave enough to say out loud and on the interweb, you're about to have a party with me. Amber's going to be Amber, and if you don't like it, you can kiss my grit. And the things that really have shaped and helped my life and the lives of my clients and my friends, will be front and center moving forward. So again, we've got 5 things that we are letting go of in the previous year to set us up for a successful year. And that's a person who takes energy, doesn't give energy back, an activity that moves you away from your goals, a belief that has no evidence to support it, a habit that keeps you from being your best, and one tool or expense you don't use or need. And then we're going to establish 5 things for a successful year. And that looks like a word of the year, a mantra of the year, your song of the year, your vision board and the themes that go with it, and your goals. And I think that if you do this, no matter how fast 2026 goes, you will have those roots so that you can have some abundance in your fruit. And even if this is the first year that you actually do this, I want you to do this and I want you to keep it somewhere where you look at it all the time. If you shove it in a drawer somewhere, if it's lost in a digital file, it ain't going to do anything. So print it out, put it in a pretty frame or a masculine frame, stick it on your phone, do whatever it is that you need to do. Ping yourself once a week, work at it, journal about these things, whatever it is that you need to do. That's front and center. I encourage you to do that. This practice has literally changed my life. And this practice has changed the life of many people who have adopted it. I am a mere vessel. I am so here and happy to support you. And hit me up. Leave what's your word of the year? What's your song of the year? Let me know either in the comments or you can email me at amber@amberhurdle.com. And I will see you soon with new content in the new year. See you next time.